Hey guys, how you all doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Just a quick disclaimer before I get started. I want to remind everyone that I have the freedom to discuss what's happening in the public sphere on social media. The topics that I'm commenting on are all publicly shared, and I am simply expressing my views based on what's out there for everyone to see. I know some onlookers may not agree with my perspective, but that is okay. Different views are what make the conversation interesting. Remember, everything I'm discussing is about my personal take on things as they appear on social media, and I encourage a respectful dialogue. So, if you have different opinions, please feel free to share them, but let's keep it open-minded and respectful. Now, let's get into my talk for today. So guys, welcome to my channel once again. Today I want to dive into a topic that a lot of you have seen lately, and we've been discussing this all week on social media. I want to discuss the response of certain people on social media. I am not going to call any names, but I am sure that people on here will understand who, what, and where that I'm talking about. Have you noticed how when people create chaos or spread drama, they end up running, hiding, or calling for help, almost like they've been hunted? Suddenly they're crying wolf, looking for soldiers to back them up, retreating into the shadow. What's going on? When you look closer, there's one common factor behind all of this, or two common factors: guilt and fear. These people are not being chased by anyone else but themselves. The guilt and the fear sits heavy and it twists their minds, making them believe that people are after them when it's really their own conscience. What I see going on here is guilt and fear that is twisting a person's reality. Have you ever noticed how they've caused problems? Some have spread allegations, caused havoc, suddenly acting like they're under attack. They're pointing fingers or crying wolf, claiming people are out to get them. But, what is really going on? I am going to share with you today the psychology of guilt. Guilt is the heaviest emotion. When someone's guilty, they're carrying around the knowledge that they have done something wrong, but they don't always own up to it. Instead, they feel like they have to run from it. The strange thing about guilt is that it doesn't need an outside enemy. It creates an internal one. That is why we see guilty people hiding, deflecting blame, and acting defensive. Where someone's conscience feel like it's closing in on them, it's a form of guilt projection. It's almost that they can hear the truth in their own minds chasing them. So they imagine people outside of them are attacking or judging them, which cause them to live in fear. When a person can't handle the weight of guilt, they look for a way out. Some people might even go to the extreme lengths to distract themselves, including elaborate defenses and stories to throw others off their trail. They say, oh, people are after me. Oh, I need protection. But protection from who? Oftentimes there's no real threat. They are trying to escape their own conscience. They imagine people coming after them because it's easier to believe they're being targeted than to admit that they've done something wrong. The irony here is that their need for refuge end up bringing more attention to the very things they're trying to hide. So when someone starts pointing fingers at imaginary enemies, they're crying wolf. They claim that they are haters or enemies where there aren't any. This behavior is about deflecting the truth, setting up imaginary threats to distract people from the real story. Deep down, they know that they've caused harm or drama, but rather than face it head on, they create stories, paint themselves as victims, and convince themselves, and sometimes others, that they are in danger. But here's the interesting part. Guilt is relentless. No matter how far they run or how many stories they tell, their conscience won't let them be. It's like trying to run from your own shadow. They are plagued by the same feeling they're trying to escape from. They've resorted to projecting their own fears and insecurities onto others because it's easier to believe that people are out to get them than to believe they've hurt others. They'll say things like, they're out to ruin me, when really it's their conscience that's the enemy. Their conscience and the repercussions of their behavior. Guilt and fear can cause paranoia, feeling like people are watching or talking about them, even if there is no one. It is a mental defense, a kind of trick that guilty minds play on themselves to avoid facing the truth. So, what's the way out? The truth is that the only way to escape guilt is to face it until they acknowledge what they've done. The guilt and the fear will always feel like they're running. They have to confront the real cause of their pain, which isn't someone on the outside, but their own conscience within. When someone owns up to their action, they can finally find peace. They can stop running, stop hiding, stop feeling like they need protection from imaginary enemies. Confronting the guilt and your behavior, choosing to change and take responsibility, that's something they are not willing to do. I hope this gives you an insight into the psychology of guilt and why we see certain behaviors on social media. It's powerful to understand that sometimes people's biggest enemy is their own mind and a repercussion of their own behavior. Have you seen this situation on social media where someone causes drama and then plays victim? How do you think they can break free from this? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy this talk, make sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Thanks for listening, and remember, peace comes when we're honest with ourselves. And finally, don't let anybody steal your joy today. Don't let them steal your peace. Don't let them trigger you. Have yourselves a wonderful day, a wonderful night, wherever you are in the world. One love.